Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi. Very good day, everyone. So in this video, I just would like to summarize back what we have learned before about void and value returning method, and it is focusing on the static method only. So let's start with the basic info about method. First is about method definition. So when we say about method definition, it is considered of method header and also body. So what is method body? It starts and with the curly braces and ends with the closed curly braces. Okay, the next one is the method types. So we have two types of methods, void and value returning method. So this void and value returning method can be with or without parameters. So depending on the design of your code, it can be with or without parameters. So what are these parameters? Parameters, there are two types of parameters. First is actual and second is formal. So actual parameters are the values that is sent when you call a method, while formal parameters are the values accepted by the method. Where you will see in the method header, you will have the values inside a bracket. So we will see example later on. And another thing that you need to know in method topic is about the variables used in the method. There are two types. One is global variable and another one is local variable. So local variable is the variable declared inside a method and it is only accessible within that method. If you try to access the value outside the method, it is not accessible. The global variable is declared inside the class after the class header and it is accessible throughout the class. So the keyword that we use for global variable is public static. So we have seen few examples earlier where you can declare a variable as a static or global variable, then the whole class can access the value and you don't have to transfer the value between the methods. So the usage depends on your design of your code. So it depends on the needs also. You have to be careful which one is need to be declared as global and which one doesn't need to be declared as global. That is the introduction about method. So here is more technical things. We have the syntax and example of your header, the return statement, and also method call. So there are two types here. If you see, there are two columns for value returning method and also for the void method. So the header of your method, how do you write the header of a void method? So you always start with public static void and then you continue with the method name, and in the bracket you can put the parameters. So when you want to write parameters in the header of the method, you have to put the data type and what is the parameter. If you want to have more than one parameters, then you have to separate them with comma. That is for void method. For value returning method, we also use public static, but the difference is the data type here. So in the void method, we use the word void, but in the value returning method, we use the data type that we are returning. And then we continue with the method name. And similarly, we have a bracket which consists of the parameters. So this is optional. If you don't have any parameter, then you don't have to put any value inside the bracket. So if we see the example here, we have public static void display info, and inside the bracket we have integer num. So meaning this is a void method and it is accepting one integer variable, and the integer variable is named as num. Our method name is display info. Okay, that is an example for void method header. Example for value returning method header, you have public static and then we have double here. Double is the data type that this method is going to return. Our method name is calculate claim. So basically in this method, we are going to calculate the claim and we are going to return the value that we have calculated. So perhaps the claim is a double data type, so that's why you have the data type here as a double. And this method also has one parameter, which is integer data type, named as hours work. So it only has one parameter here. Okay, that is the header of your method for the void and value returning method. So you should be able to differentiate when you between the both types of method when you see the header itself. Okay, so next one is about the return statement. So return statement for void method, you don't need any return statement. But for value returning method, you will need to write the return statement, which consists of reserved word return, and then you continue with the variable name. So as we said just now, this calculate claim method is going to calculate the claim and return what is the claim value. So that's why I put the similar example for the same method where we have return claim. So you might have the calculation before the return statement. So return claim should be the last statement inside your method. Okay, that is the return statement. But don't write a return statement for a void method. It is not needed. You will get error if you try to write the return statement for a void method. So return statement is only for value returning method. And you should be careful with the data type that you are returning. So if claim is a double, so in your method header also should be double. If claim is an integer, in the method header should be integer. Okay, so that is for return statement. So there is another thing that you need to know about the method call for void method and value returning method. So there is slight difference between the both of them. So if you are calling a void method from similar class, then you have to write the method name only. But if you are calling a method from different class, then you have to write the class name dot method name, and whatever parameter that you have, you just put in the bracket. Okay, similar class as well. If you have parameters, then you put in a bracket. Okay, for void method, it is more simple because you just need to write the method name and the parameter. But for value returning method, the syntax is the variable to accept value returned by the method. So if we see the previous example just now, we return a claim. So this claim value need to be accepted by one variable when you call the method. So when calling a value returning method, there are two parts. First is the variable itself, and you have to put the equal sign, and then you have to put the method name together with the parameter. Okay, you have to remember that. If you see for the void method, you just write the method name and the parameter. But for value returning method, you have to include a variable to accept the value returned by the method equal to the method call, method name, together with the parameters. So example given here, when you want to call a void method, you just write display info, which is the method name, and you send age. So age is just one parameter that we have. And if you see the example for value returning method, we have a variable in front, double claim. So this variable should be declared. That's why you have to put the double. Either you put it here or you put in the declaration earlier, doesn't matter. But the thing is you need one variable that can accept the value returned by the method. So after you have the variable, you write the equal symbol, and after that you write your method name, calculate claim, and you send the hours word. So here you are sending only one value, so that's why you just write the parameter as hours work. So what will happen is you will execute the method call. Your calculate claim method call will send hours work to the method. So the method will accept the hours work, it will calculate the claim and return the claim. So claim value returned by the method will be sent to this claim variable. So whatever you want to do after that, you can just print out the claim, or you want to calculate anything else, you just can make use of this variable. Hopefully you have got the idea of the difference between void method and value returning method. So basically these three items are the things that you need to know when you work with a method. So you have to be able to differentiate between the header of void method and value returning method, and you need to know about the return statement, and after that about the method call. So this is for ordinary variable. So you are working with a method with ordinary variable or parameter. So next slide, I will show you how to send array as a parameter. Okay, this slide is about passing array as parameter of a method. So we have the method call and also method header. So in the method header, for example, it is a void method here. We have a public static void. You just write down your method name. So how do you write a parameter in a method header is you have to write the array data type and you include the square bracket, and after that you write your array name. So that is the syntax that you should write in the method header. Okay, example given here, we have public static void, calculate total claims. And in the bracket, we have double, square bracket, and our array name. Okay, so this one is one parameter. If you notice, we have another parameter here. It is integer num. So how do you differentiate whether it is an array or not? So here we don't have square bracket. So here we have the square bracket. So this one will show that it is an array. But this one shows that this is an ordinary variable. Okay, that is how you differentiate between the parameter types. Okay, that is about the header. So this parameter we call as formal parameter. Okay, for calling a method, we have calling a method and sending an array. What you have to do is write down the method name, and in bracket you just write the array name. So here, for example, we are calling this calculate total claims method. So you just write down the method name. So inside your bracket, you have two parameters here, which are the actual parameters. So R is your array name. 10 is the value that you want to send to this integer num. So you are sending an array and also an integer value to call this method. Okay, so that is how you pass array and also integer variable together to the method. So hopefully you have got some idea about how you should make use of methods. So as we summarized just now, there are two types of methods, void and value returning method. And we also summarized about passing array as the parameter of a method. So hopefully you can make use of this information in your codes. Next, we are going to solve a problem to develop a system for hotel bill calculation. So the problem given to us is Alora Hotel is currently having its promotion post COVID-19 MCO. You are assigned to by the manager to develop a program that can calculate the hotel bills for its customers. So this hotel is basically making promotion because they have less visitors, so they want to give discounts to the visitors. Okay, there are two types of customers, which are golden and regular. The bill for each of them are calculated based on type of room and type of customer, or as follows. So first is about the room types and rates. So we have three room types here, and the rate is different for each. So for superior, it is 210 per day. Deluxe is 230, and executive suite is 260. Another one is about the type of customer and bill calculation. So how we calculate the bill depends on the type of customer. For golden customer, the room rate is multiplied with the number of stay, and 70% is deducted from the amount as the total charge. So the the customer with a golden type will get 75% of discount. For regular customer, for regular type of customer, the room rate is multiplied with the number of stay, and 30% is deducted from the amount as the total charge. So regular customer will only get 30% of discount. Okay, so you are going to implement methods in this question. So the input for this program is the customer's ID, customer's name, room type, number of stay, and customer type. The program should display the calculated bill together with the customer's information. it will keep asking input until the user chooses to stop. So it looks like this program is going to have a loop as well. Okay, let's read more about the question. So here, more instruction given. You have to implement two methods in this class as follows. First is method calculate charge, which is a value returning method which accepts room type, customer type, and number of stay as parameters. This method calculates the total charge need to be paid based on these values. The total charge is then returned to the caller. So basically, this calculate charge method will calculate the total charge that need to be paid before the discount. After you have got the charge before discount, then you have to see whether the customer is a regular or golden, and based on that, you're going to calculate how much discount they get, and the total charge will be returned to the caller after the discount. Okay, that is for calculate charge method. And the second one is to print method, a void method which accepts customer ID, customer type, customer name, number of stay, and total charge, and displays them. So this is just a void method to display the information. Okay, that are the two methods that you need to create. In the main method, what you have to do, the program should prompt for customer name, room type, customer type, and also number of stay. Then the two methods should be called from the main. Okay, the program also should ask whether the user would like to do another calculation or not. If user choose yes, then the program will repeat asking input. Otherwise, the program should end. So basically, you're going to have a main and then calculate charge method and also print method. Okay, let's see the sample run given. So the first one is to ask for the customer ID and customer name. After that, room type. For example, now user choose one, which is superior, and then total of stay is 2 days, and customer type is golden. So based on the given table, we see here that the customer type is golden, and the number or the room type is superior. So superior is 210 per day, and this customer is going to stay for 2 days. So 210 times 2, you get 420. And since this customer is a golden type, so he gets 75% of discount. So that's why if you see the total charge here is 105. Okay, and then after you display all this information, so notice that this part is done by the print method. So we are going to call print method and to print all this information. So after you call print method, you are going to ask whether the user would like to calculate another bill or not. If user say yes, you are going to continue asking input. If you see this part, similar to this part. So we are repeating this again because the user answer to us yes. Okay, so here we ask again customer ID, name, the room type. Room type now is deluxe 2 and total stay is 1. And the type of customer is regular. So based on that, we do the calculation and we will get 161. So since it is a regular customer, the charge will be after 30% discount. Okay, so finally, your program loop again. It asks you whether you would like to calculate another hotel bill. Now, since you say no, so this program is stopped. So basically, this is what you're going to do. We are going to design the flowchart first, then we move on to the code. This is our flowchart. We will start with the main. So I put the question side by side with the flowchart so that we can refer. So what do we have in the main method? Okay, instruction given to us is the program should prompt for customer name, room type, customer type, and also number of stay. So this is the first step that we have to do in our main method. So similarly, in the flowchart, what we do here is to ask input from the user. So we ask input for the customer ID, customer name, room type, number of stay, and also customer type. So after that, the two methods should be called. So as we know, we have two methods, calculate charge and also print. So now we are going to call these two methods. In order to call the method, you need to know whether the method have parameter or doesn't have parameter. So from where we can get that info is through this instruction. So it is a value returning method which accepts room type, customer type, and number of stay as parameter. Okay, so if you see here the method call, we call method calculate charge and we are sending room type, customer type, and number of stay by referring to the question. Okay, this is the first method call, and the second method call is to call method print. So method print accepts customer ID, customer type, customer name, number of stay, and also total charge. So similarly, in our flowchart, we put the same parameters here: customer ID, customer type, customer name, number of stay, and also charge. So after we call these two methods, the next is we have to ask whether user would like to do another calculation or not. So this is how we represent as the flowchart. We ask input whether user would like to calculate another bill. Then we read the input. So based on that input, we have a loop here. Okay, the decision is showing this is a loop. So while the answer is equal to y, either uppercase or lowercase, if the answer is equal to y, you are going to repeat the process again. So if the answer is not equal to y, then you are going to end the program. So this loop will be repeated until this loop condition is true. When the loop condition is false, then you are going to end the loop. Okay, so basically this is what you're going to have in your main method. So we will see the execution of calculate charge method and also print method next. So this is the starting point of our calculate charge method. So we start from the method header here, calculate charge, and we accept room type, customer type, and also number of stay. So in this method, we are going to calculate the charge, and we have to depend on the room type and also the customer type. So for the room type, if you still remember, we have three types of rooms: superior, deluxe, and executive suite. And each of them has different charges. So in this method, we need to determine what is the room rate. So that's why we have the if else here. So first one is if room type is equal to 1, so which is superior, the room rate is 210. Else if the room type is equal to 2, then the room rate is 230. Otherwise, the room rate is 260 because we only have 3 types of rooms. So after we have already known what is the room rate, then we need to have another if else for the customer type. So we have two types of customers. So here is a if statement for customer type equals to golden. So if this if statement is true, then you're going to calculate the actual charge equals to room rate times with the number of stay. So this one you will get the actual total charge. But after that, you are going to calculate the 75% of discount. So since this is true for golden customer type, so you get 75% of discount. Okay. Otherwise, the actual charge is equal to room rate times number of stay, and then you get 30% of discount. So one of them will be calculated, and whatever value that you get from this calculation, you are going to return the value. So we return total here. So total will be returned to the caller. So the caller just now was from main method. So this total value will return to the will be returned to the main method. So next one is our print method. So print method accepts customer ID, customer type, customer name, number of stay, and also total. So we are just going to print out the values here. So we are just going to print and we are going to return. If you see here, we only have the word return because this is a void method. So it will return to the caller in the main method just now. Okay, so next, let's look at our code. So we have class hotel bill calculator method do while. So first thing we have the method here, our calculate charge method. So if we compare to our flowchart, okay, it should be similar. Okay, so here we are declaring the header of your method. So it is a value returning method. So we have public static double because we are going to return a double data type. So your method name is calculate charge and it is accepting 3 parameters here. If you compare to the flowchart also, we have 3 parameters. So what we have in this method, first we declare the variables that we need to use, and then we have the if else statement. So if room type is equal to 1, we assign room rate to 210 and so on. So we have the 3 room types here and we have 3 room rates. So this is the part that we do the if else. And then we continue with the customer type. So if customer type is equal to golden, this is the calculation, and otherwise this is the calculation. At the end we have our return total because this is going to return a value, and total is the value that you're going to return, and total is also declared as a double. That's why in the method header it is also double. Next is our method print. So we have method print here. We know that method print is a void method and it is accepting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 parameters here. So similarly in the method header of our print method, we have 5 parameters and it is a void method. The method name is print. So what we are going to do in the print method is only to print out the value that we received just now in the header. So we just want to print the customer ID, customer type, name, total of stay, and also total charge. That's it. This is our print method. In the flowchart, we see here there is a return, but in the code, we don't have to write the return. So this is just to show that it is returning to the caller. So here, don't put the return statement because this is a void method. Otherwise, you are going to get error. Okay, the next part is our main method. So this is the most important part in your code. If you don't have this main, you are not going to be able to run your code. So here we have to ask input from the user for the customer ID, customer name, room type, number of stay, and customer type. So this is where you ask input from the user for the how many variables here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we ask input for the 5 values. And after that, we have the method call. You call method calculate charge. So here is the method call for calculate charge method. So since it is a value returning method, so you have one variable which can accept the value returned by the method. So we call it as charge. And this charge is already declared up here. So I don't have to declare again here. After that, you continue with the equal symbol. Then you have your method call. Calculate charge, and you are sending 3 parameters here: room type, customer type, number of stay. So these 3 values, from where do we get all of this? From the user's input just now. So room type, customer type, and number of stay. Room type, number of stay, and customer type. So the arrangement should be similar to what you have in the method header. So first we have room type, customer type, and number of stay. So if we see the method header here, room type, customer type, and number of stay. So you should follow the arrangement in the method header when you call the method. Okay, so here we are sending 3 parameters. So these are the actual parameters, and in the header are the formal parameters. So whatever values entered by the user will be sent to the method. So after that, you are going to execute the method, and finally you are going to get the charge, and the charge will be sent back to you in this variable charge. Okay, that is the method call for calculate charge. After that, we have method call for print. So here we have print, and we are sending 5 parameters. Customer ID, customer type, customer name, number of stay, and also charge. So if you notice here, there is a little bit difference between both method calls. As we have described earlier, this is method calculate charge is a value returning method, while print method is a void method. So the method calls are slightly different. For method void method, you don't need any variable on the left. Okay, so you just directly call the method and send whatever parameter that you need. So similarly, here also you have to follow the arrangement that you have in the method header. So in the method header, we have customer ID, customer type, customer name, number of stay, and also charge. So you always have to check with the method header of your method before you send the values. Okay, should follow the same arrangement. So here you are going to send the values. Customer ID is from the input. Customer type is also from the input of the user. Number of stay is also from the input of this user, and the charge from where you get this charge is through the method call just now. When you call the method, you are going to do the calculation and the value will be sent back to this variable. So now you are going to use the same variable and you're going to send to print method because you want to print out what's the value of the charge. Okay, so that's why we use same variable. So whatever value variable that you have here, you can make use of it again. Either you want to print it here or you want to call for other method, you want to send to other method. It is based on your design of your code. Okay, so after you call this method is going to print out all of the values, and then it's going to ask the user whether the user would like to calculate another hotel bill or not. So if user answer yes, you're going to repeat the code again until the user say no. So let's run this code. We will see what happens. So enter customer ID. Let's say my customer ID is 1234. Customer name Shafina, and my room type is 1. Total of stay I put 2 days. I'm a golden customer type, so I will get 105 ringgit. So if I want to calculate again, I will put 1235. So customer name is Ali, room type is deluxe, so total of stay is 3, and I'm only a regular customer, so I will get what is my total charge, 483. So here I say no, so my program should stop. Okay, so hopefully you have got some idea how to do this how to solve this problem. I have started from the question, then continued with the flowchart, and after that I also have demonstrated the code. So this design might be useful for you for your future codes, especially for your project and assignment. So wish you all the best. Thank you.